Namaskaram, my name is S. Ashok Kumar. Welcome to my channel. In this part, I am going to continue the hormones released by the anterior pituitary gland. In the last part, I explained the GH, PRL, TSH and ACTH. In this part, I am going to continue that is with the gonadotropins. Means the hormones control the functions of the gonads. That is those gonadotropins include LH and FSH. Now first you take the LH. Luteinizing hormone. Actually in male, this LH is called as a ICSH. Interstitial cell stimulating hormone. So actually this ICSH, interstitial stimulating hormone, as we know, testis consists of seminiferous tubules. Between the seminiferous tubule, there are interstitial cells. Interstitial cells also called as a Leydig cells. These ICSH, interstitial cell stimulating hormone, stimulate Leydig cells. Where these Leydig cells are present? Between the seminiferous tubules of the testis. Stimulates the Leydig cells to release the testosterone. That means the release of the testosterone in the male is mainly controlled by the ICSH. That is, you can call it as a LH. That is a ICSH is a male name of the LH. Now you take the female. So what is the meaning of luteinization? Luteinization you can call it as a ovulation. That means in female, when this LH reaches to the peak in the blood, that induce ovulation. Ovulation nothing but what? Breaking of the cord, that is a breaking of the Graafian follicle into what it called, what we know, there is a, when the Graafian follicle get ruptured, results the formation of the corpus luteum and the ovum. So that formation, that corpus luteum and ovum formation, that is called as a ovulation, that is a mediating by the LH in the female. Side next you take the FSH. Take in the male. Along with the testosterone, synergic effects. In male, FSH and testosterone, androgens are the synergic effects. Act together. Mediate spermatogenesis. Spermatogenesis is a synergic effect of the testosterone and FSH. Now, in case of female, follicular stimulating hormone responsible for follicular development. This, as we know, follicular development is nothing but development of primary follicle up to the Graafian follicle. Primary to the secondary, secondary to the tertiary, tertiary to the Graafian follicle. Then that development is mediating by the FSH. Once the Graafian follicle is formed, Graafian follicle get ruptured into corpus luteum and ovum, that is by the LH. These are the functions of the gonadotropins in male and female. These are the hormones up to, these are the 6 hormones released by the anterior pituitary gland. Next, I am going to tell about the pars intermedia. As we know, pars distalis is commonly called as a anterior pituitary gland. Next, second part of the pituitary gland, that is a pars intermedia. This pars intermedia release one important hormone, that is the MSH, melanocyte stimulating hormone. Actually, this MSH, melanocyte stimulating hormone, 3 forms are there: alpha, beta, gamma. Already some that when I am discussing it ACTH, that I said the alpha MSH. But in our body, the most dominated melanocyte stimulating hormone is the gamma MSH. Gamma MSH is the most dominated. Simple one. So what is this MSH means? Melanocyte stimulating hormone. In our body, there is a skin under that dermis and epidermis. In that skin layer, these melanocytes are present. Just for your understanding, see, understand this one. Very simple one. Consider this is a melanocyte. Melanocyte. Once the MSH is released by this pars intermedia, consider this one, gamma MSH. Come and binds with the receptors in the melanocyte. So that binds with the receptors of this particular MSH. Already I said, specific receptor. This MSH, once it binds with the corresponding receptor, inside it stimulates one important enzyme, that is a tyrosinase. Who is stimulating? Once it binds these hormones through certain mechanism, that stimulates the inside, it stimulates the enzyme tyrosinase. What is this tyrosinase? You will do, no? This mediates a simple biochemical reaction. Amino acid tyrosin is converted into melanin. So what you need to understand is melanin pigment is synthesizing from amino acid tyrosin. This reaction is mediated by the enzyme tyrosinase. This, as we know, this melanin responsible for the pigmentation of skin. Pigmentation of skin. So this you understood the mechanism. Now the one more important point is that this tyrosinase is only involved in the synthesis of the melanin. So, for example, this tyrosinase enzyme, that's nothing but protein, is coming from a gene. There is a genetic defect of this enzyme tyrosinase. Consider, if there is a genetic defect of this enzyme tyrosinase, automatically what you can, there is almost complete absence of the melanin. That condition is called as a albinism. What is albinism? Albinism means complete absence of pigment melanin. What is the drawback in this one? There is in albumin, there is the absence of which enzyme? That is a tyrosinase. Because of the absence of the tyrosinase enzyme, there is a complete absence of the melanin. That leads to condition is called as a albinism. This is about the hormone released by the pars intermedia. The pars intermedia, the last part of the pituitary gland, I am going to explain about the posterior pituitary gland. You can call it as a pars nervosa, okay na? Or neurohypophysis. As we know, this posterior pituitary gland store and release two nona-peptide hormones. Those include oxytocin and vasopressin. I will give the clarity. Posterior pituitary gland store and release oxytocin and vasopressin. Actually, these oxytocin and vasopressin, actually who synthesized? That is oxytocin and vasopressin synthesized by the hypothalamus, reaches to the posterior pituitary gland through axon. That already I explained. The next one, these after store and release, here I mentioned two nona-peptide hormone. What's the meaning of nona? Nona indicates a 9. That means this oxytocin and vasopressin, each hormone is made up of 9 number of amino acid. That is why these two are called as a nona-peptide hormones. As we know, no need to mention, these hormones are produced by the hypothalamus, released by the posterior pituitary gland. Don't get confused. Oxytocin and vasopressin produced by the hypothalamus, released by the posterior pituitary gland. Next point is that this PPG is a direct neural control of neural regulation of hypothalamus. Means when the hypothalamus gets stimulated, that information is passing to the PPG. then PPG releases either oxytocin or vasopressin into the blood. And that means directly PPG will not activate. The activation of the PPG is under the control of the hypothalamus. Now you take the oxytocin. In simple, oxytocin, simple way I will tell you, this oxytocin stimulate contraction of smooth muscles. Contraction of the smooth muscles. Now you take the assumption. Oxytocin causes the contraction of the smooth muscles of uterus during parturition. What we know parturition? Parturition is the process of the childbirth. So during this parturition, this oxytocin mediates a severe uterine contraction. Along with the oxytocin, there is a definite role of prostaglandins also present. Now I am mentioning the oxytocin. So oxytocin causes the contraction of the smooth muscles. These smooth muscles are present around the myometrium of the uterus. Makes a severe uterine contraction, thereby the baby present in the mother's womb comes out. That is why in this condition, this oxytocin is called as a birth hormone. Okay, now this is the one point. Next one, it causes the contraction of the smooth muscles of mammary gland. Mammary gland. Then when the mammary gland gets contracted by this particular oxytocin, the milk already produced within the alveoli that comes out. That is why in this condition, this oxytocin is called as a milk releasing hormone. So which hormone is called as a birth hormone or which hormone is a milk releasing hormone? Only one answer, that is the oxytocin. Okay, next I am going to tell about the vasopressin. Name I will explain the later. This vasopressin is that function wise, main function wise, it is also called as a ADH. That means anti-diuretic hormone. Anti-diuretic hormone. That means what is responsible for this ADH, you know? The main action of this ADH is on the DCT of the kidney, distal convoluted tubules of the kidney. There, this ADH go and binds with the receptors present at the DCT of the neuron, that is a nephron, makes reabsorption of water. That means vasopressin or ADH is mainly concerned with that water balance, maintenance of the water balance in our body. It's responsible for reabsorption of the water at DCT of the nephron. That is why DCT of the nephron is involved in the conditional reabsorption of the water and the sodium ion. Sodium ions is under the influence of the aldosterone, that I will tell you later. So this vasopressin or ADH is a main hormone concerned with water regulation in our body. This is the one important point. For example, there is a deficiency of this ADH or deficiency of the vasopressin. So there is no reabsorption of the water from the nephron. There is a continuous loss of the water, that is in the form of urine. That one is called as loss of the excess loss of the dilute urine. That is called as a diabetes insipidus. Diabetes insipidus, also called as a polyuria, also called as a diuresis. So this diuresis is preventing by this hormone. That is why this is also called anti-diuretic hormone. What is this diabetes insipidus or diuresis is characterized by? That is characterized by the excess loss of the dilute urine due to the deficiency of the hormone, that is the ADH. So vasopressin main function is to act as a ADH. But this, when vasopressin in excess concentration, when it is present in the excess concentration, vasopressin, that means what? Vaso means a blood vessel, pressin means a constriction. That means this hormone, when the blood vessels, arteries, when they constricted, increases the BP. How it increases the BP? By vasoconstriction. That is why this hormone increases the BP by vasoconstriction only when it is produced in the large quantity. Anyhow, that is why this hormone is called as a vasopressin. So these two, oxytocin and vasopressin, are actually produced by hypothalamus, released by the posterior pituitary gland. Second point is that these are two nonapeptide hormones, or you can call it as a nona, means 9 amino acid, or nano also a small. These oxytocin and vasopressin are nonapeptide hormones. These are the function. These two hormones released by the posterior pituitary gland. Till now, in the last part and this part, I explained about the pituitary gland, what are the hormones released by it. So, if you till understand, you can like and share this video to your friends, subscribe our channel. So definitely this video helps to your exam point of view, both NEET exam and board exams. So if you have any doubts about the chapter, comment below. Definitely I will respond to your questions. Thank you.